You can hear me, yeah? What's happening? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Whew. It's been some fun times, hasn't it, Heather?
Yeah, I'm still taking a breath from getting my butt in this chair over here.
Yeah, so we, just to give everybody an idea, we've been doing the Hell Week Challenge at Choose Fitness. It is 6 days of team training, 1 hour, kick your butt. You're burning like 600 to 800 calories each time. My abs are sore. I don't know about you, Heather.
Yeah, more my glutes and my thighs, but yes, definitely.
It's my abs. Sorry, we got a new puppy running around now too. But
hey,
yeah,
it kind of feels like we're juggling, like when you threw that topic out yesterday and a couple days ago and said, "Oh, the juggle's real," and I said, "Yes, that's the perfect topic for our VBO Live." And then this morning I said, "Wait, so are we talking more about the juggle with family, or are we going to talk more about business juggling and what we do for that, or maybe all of the above?"
Yeah, I think a little bit all of the above, because anymore it's not like you can only do one thing anymore. We got to juggle personal and business and family and bring all those together, and then that creates us. And this time of year, I mean, we generate what 40 to 50% of our business in the last 4 months of the year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. So we still got to go to the gym. We still got to eat right. We still got to take care of these little, rascals running around called kids. And so how do we do it? And we're not perfect, but we have some ways, I think, that might help some of you. And quite honestly, it helps us to talk about it anyway. So it's a win-win for everybody, right?
Right? Exactly.
So let's start with the personal. I'll ask you, Heather, how do you stay sane or balanced during this crazy fourth quarter, or maybe even the whole year? What are some of the personal things that you do to stay on track and stay focused?
Well, yeah, it's funny you say the whole year, because I feel like we came out of Q4 last year, and I'm assuming most of the people listening are in our industry, so all you have to say is Q4, and I think that paints a picture of what that looks like. But I remember, okay, Q4, we got this, and then you feel like you get a breath after, but I feel like that breath never happened this year. And I've had that conversation with a couple different people that have felt the same way. And I don't know if that's because of COVID or multiple factors, but I do feel like we've kind of been running almost at a Q4 pace most of the year until we came into Q4, and I realized what the Q4 pace really is. And so it has been difficult sometimes to find ways to do that, right? Especially being business owners and growing our business. We don't have the 9 to 5. And I know that even people who aren't business owners and account managers and such, they don't have a 9 to 5 either. And there's high expectations to get things done. So carving out the time to stay sane can be really hard. I mean, I know sometimes I'm doing late nights or early mornings. I will say, back to the workout thing, I know our partner Jackie kind of kicked that off, and both of us decided to
Jackie,
do it. Yeah, I was so excited. She was doing. I'm like, all right, I got to do this too. And I think it's really important to do that. And for me, it was the accountability and putting it on the calendar, because it was something I've been wanting to do for months and had excuses of time and back injury and this and that. But it wasn't until I committed to someone and put it in the calendar that I was going to do it. And I'll tell you, I know you agree that when you get to that time and there's just always so much to do. So feeling like, well, wait, I have so much to do. Like, I don't have time to do this. I don't got time for that. It's really hard and easily dismissed unless I had that accountability, which I had and had it in the calendar. And so that's been really big for me, even just in the last couple of weeks.
Right. Well, you and I are very similar, right? we fly a little bit by the seat of our pants to some degree. I think that we have to, but there's a lot of things that really resonate with us, which is keeping our commitments, setting those, and then keeping those. So I almost didn't go to it this morning, Heather. I was going to go later. And then I know what happens if I push it off. Like, I've gone at 6:30 every day for 4 days in a row. So I like that consistency. Consistency is king. Maybe not the most sexy, but it does work. And I just thought, you know what? It's 6:30 in the morning. I have a ton to do. Hopefully I come out more energetic. Now, Hell Week's pushing me a little harder, so I'm a little drained, but I'll come back so I can have the day ready to rock and roll. But if I push it off, there's another fire that happens. Everything opens up, right?
Right.
And so by the end of the day, what's your likelihood of doing it? It becomes less and less. And then you might even miss the opportunity because classes fill up. So that's a challenge for us, right?
Right.
So that's a little on the personal side, is sticking to the commitments, right?
Yep.
A little bit of consistency. I think for you and I, that helps. That accountability partner, and we're gonna move that over into business a little bit too.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that we do to really, to make sure that we're doing the important things, or staying focused on what's important in this busier time of year? And I say busier because you're right. It's busy all year now, but right now it's like extra busy.
Yeah, it's like on steroids. Yeah.
It never goes down anymore.
No. And right. And I mean, to your point, being I think many people wear many hats. I was going to say, we wear many hats and we do many things, but I think that's all around. I think that can go too extreme, right? If we're trying to do too many things and we're not leveraging different partners and experts that can maybe do it in half the time, or, that we can actually delegate. I know sometimes that's hard for us, type A control type people, but kind of like a previous VBO that we did a couple months ago, we are in the age of specialization, as we said this morning. And if someone's trying to do it all, including ourselves, then you're just going to get burnt out. So really finding the areas of where you can bring the most value and find the partners that you can leverage their expertise, I think is the only way to make it anymore, or you're just going to drown and burn out.
You mean don't get lost in the shiny? And we had a Medicare person come in. We're asked to do Medicare all the time. No, we don't do Medicare. It's not our thing. And this is a little small example, but sometimes we just have to say no and give it over to the specialist. Honestly, we wouldn't be doing a good job to consult on anything Medicare. But you know what? We know people that know how to do that, and we will gladly refer that out. I think that's a great example. Or MEX, or whatever it is, something that's not really in our wheelhouse. We need to make sure that we have partners to help get us through that, right?
Yep.
Like medical, actually. That's a big one.
Yeah, and along those lines, not to tangent, but I think another thing that's really important right now to stay sane and keep the juggle and find those partners sometimes that you can leverage that expertise for, is to find some sort of community for yourself. And that was something on a podcast I was listening to this morning, actually, talking about community. And I know for me, I get a lot of that with the Health Underwriter Association that we're a part of, both on a local level and a state level and a national level. And it makes it so you're not just siloed in what you're doing, right? Because that can be hard, especially for us connectors and people that want to meet other people. And now we're not out there at a lot of these conferences and stuff. And I know at the peak of COVID, it was really hard in this lockdown, for people. And so finding that community to be able to meet those professionals and say, oh, wow, I have the perfect person for Medicare that I can refer, that I feel comfortable with. And then to have that vulnerability, to have, happy hours like we did virtually last night, where you get to hear other people speak. And I have a lot of admiration for many of those people, and it inspires me to even do better. And so I think community is a huge part for me of how I stay sane and how I keep the juggle up, and the stamina.
Yeah, I'm going to give a special little plug to the NAHU Power Hours. Watch out for those. Typically the fourth Wednesday of the month, but watch out for it because holidays and things change it. But that's my shameless plug. But you know what? Community helps save me too. Helps you get through that challenge, and it helps you. Maybe it's not the day-to-day that it really helps with,
Right.
It's getting through the majors. You're not in it by yourself, isolated out on this mountaintop. That's why I like working with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's one of the reasons we went into a partnership, right? Instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to go be a lone person and do this myself. I mean, we saw the value of a team and of community with each other. Of course, community is a broad word. When I was speaking to it more of like the business community. But of course, you also need your personal community. I know that drives me a lot. I am big on my interpersonal relationships. I find a lot of joy in spending time with other people. And so I have to have that infused in my life or I'll burn out and I'll not have a reason to be doing what I'm doing. So finding that community both at home and other places has been big. And I think got us through a lot of the hard times. And sometimes, the whole proverbial, it's lonely at the top kind of thing. Which again, another podcast I was listening to is talking about that and how, I was a business owner and she's now a CEO and how, like when you are at the top kind of thing, running the business, sometimes you're not able to have those same interpersonal relationships with everyone because you're running at such a high level.
Yeah. So we have our personal, again, going back to our business, we have lots of plates spinning, but how do we decide what's important? And
what do you do for that? I think you asked me a couple questions. Your turn.
All right. So for me, I try to look at the big rocks. So I go back to some things that I heard in the past, and I remembered some of these visuals, right? The big rocks, small rocks, sand, and then the water, and trying to figure out what's important first. And for us, or at least for me, it's our partnerships first. It's our family. That could be here internally at EBIS. That could be our broker partners that are amazing, our carrier partners. We want to put those first because we want to live up to our promise. Now, are we perfect? No, but we try. And Heather, you and I and Jack, we had this deep conversation. Actually, maybe not deep is the word, but we had a intense conversation trying to figure out how to bring out some clients recently, and we had to say no to some. And they were shiny and they looked great, but they didn't really fit our model, or maybe they weren't partners of ours right now and we couldn't do as good of a job. And we had to say no. So sometimes just saying no to certain things will really get you further because you can live up to your other promises. So to me, that's a big one, learning to say no and having others to bounce it off of, which will help buy us time because you can't do everything. I want to pass them back and forth, but there's one other thing that's helping me is I like to keep journal type things. I have this one, which is Panda Planner. I like the Productivity Planner a little bit better myself, but something, I add that. I like the black. Oh, I've done them all. I like the black one is my favorite.
Yep.
Business. It's very focused. And it's not quite as all inclusive, I think personally. I mean, a little bit, but having any of these types of books will really help you. You can check them. I like to check boxes. I love the 5-minute journal too. And then you just got to find one that works for you. And I still like the paper piece. What about, do you like the paper or do you like online versions?
I like paper mostly. Yeah, I do both, but I mean, obviously online you can keep everything in one place no matter where you're at. You don't have to like physically have something with you. But I will say, not only do what you're saying as far as helping to keep your top tasks priority, but a lot of these also infuse a level of gratitude, right? So, learning 3 things you're thankful for. I'm big on that. Anytime we come from a space of gratitude, is going to just be you have a different experience in life. So that's one of the things I like about these is they kind of have a little of both as well. Just mention that because I think that's so important.
You know what? Special shout out to Andy Neary. Don't know if you're listening to this today, but and he and I worked with him for quite a while. He talked about we would do that gratitude every week. And as a team, Stephanie San Antonio brought us a book called Traction. Thank you, Stephanie. That was fantastic. And it really makes us, as a team, we start off every meeting positive, which might not exactly get you as productive as you want. But you know what? If this isn't right, Heather, how can we do anything else, right?
Well, yeah. And yeah, we won't go down that. I could go a whole rabbit hole, but we're not going to do that. Go keep the mouth closed, in a good way. But yeah, but the only way to do this is to leverage partnerships. Going back to that, you have to have people that are doing some of the work for you. I know that's something we try to bring of value to our partnerships, is to, even though they might be implementing a new line that they didn't have before, and it seems like more work, to be able to take a lot of that off and still have those same results. And then some, even, like when we meet with new hires and our counselors are spending 4 hours with a client that account manager might have had to spend, that's 4 hours they can put somewhere else. Right. So just kind of finding different places. I know a lot of our broker partners work with GA partners that make their life so much easier. And of course, working with the right carrier partners. So I think you could speak to that in a couple different ways.
Spot on, Heather. Oh man, I love having these talks with you. And it's a great finish to the month, starting the next month as well. But
we're about to go into November.
It's almost 2022. Can you believe it? Can you believe, like, this time last year, it was even hard to think about face-to-face. Now we have some clients that are demanding it, right? So we're flying out to the East Coast. We have a small team out there, but like, everything's changing, and that's the reality of the world. And it can be overwhelming to us. And we sometimes just have to take a moment, take that breath, create some consistency. But finding those partnerships, I think, is key. And if you don't, I think that you can only sustain so long. And I just think of the dinosaur that I have looking right up there. Somebody once told me, if you don't change or adapt, you die. And I think this is the time to adapt. So find the right carrier, find the right partners.
Too, yeah.
which can be many different things to different people. For us, it's carriers and our broker partners. We love you all, but it's also your internal team. It's finding all the right people. And you know what? We went over, but
I know we do that sometimes when like, did you do this? Like, I got some time. Oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, funny that.
Hey, can we finish off with one little thing here? So sometimes people think it's so easy to, like, because the surface looks so amazing for us, for anybody. I mean, not just saying for us, but for anybody. And it looks like it's easy. It looks like things are great. And that's what reminds me of it right there. So what's that poster you have behind you?
This was something I looked at for many weeks and I really wanted, and I told Jack and I didn't get it. And then all of a sudden he got it for me as a surprise. So it's extra special to me for that. But I just think it's such a great way to show exactly what you just said, right? That on the top, everything seems so easy to a lot of people. But really, when you drill down, there's all those different things: hard work, persistence, late nights. I probably can't read that. Sacrifice, discipline, criticism, doubts, failure, risks. I mean, these are all things that many of us deal with on a day-to-day basis that a lot of people aren't seeing on the surface. So I think that's a great representation of that.
It's fantastic. Thank you, Heather. You're the best.
You.
Have a fantastic week, everybody, month and year. And the next video live will not be on December 26th, I think is one, or December 24th. But thank you. We'll probably do the week before, or maybe even go dark for 1 month. We'll let you know. Thank you all. Have a great time.